Hello and welcome back to our meeting. I'm your coworker, Molly Beck, and I'm here with my coworker, Jennifer Glantz. Jen,
Hello.
how are you today?
I feel like I've had quite a day before 9:30. I gave blood this morning.
Did you really?
For Adam's health insurance policy, you get $1,000 credit if you go give blood so they can test your cholesterol, they test your weight and your blood pressure. And so for my weight, I got on the scale and I was wearing shoes. So she's like, I'm going to deduct a pound for shoes. And I'm like, well, actually I'm wearing my broken toe boot and it's really heavy. She's like, I'm going to deduct another pound for that. I'm like, let's call it deduct 3 pounds and call it a day. But it was the funniest thing.
That is so amazing. So you gave blood this morning.
And we get $1,000 credit on our insurance.
Oh, that's so nice though to give blood. That's really awesome.
Oh, no. I didn't give blood. I gave blood so that they could test my cholesterol.
Oh. Oh my God. Funny semantics.
What did you do this morning?
Not give blood. Just had a normal morning. Talked to my sister for a while. I accidentally overdrafted one of my accounts. So had a phone call from Capital One being like, girl, what are you doing? And I'm like, sorry, I messed up. I'm fixing it now.
Do they charge you money?
I don't think they would because I had 2 Capital One accounts and I was trying to transfer from my savings to one, but I obviously did it wrong. And I took the money out of the account instead of transferring it. And it was just a little bit of a mess, but I fixed it. And then I called my sister and I was like, oh my God, Capital One is so annoying. She's like, really? Why? I'm like, well, I overdrafted my account and they called me about it. She's like, okay.
Wait, I just think it's amazing that you're still a Capital One loyalist. Did you ever use Capital One before our Capital One cafe days?
You know what? I will say the Capital One cafes are these cafes that they do mostly in major cities, and it's for everyone, not just Capital One customers. But Jen and I used to co-work out of one. I believe I was already a Capital One customer before then, but I just want to say that has made me so loyal to the brand. And I still think about the woman that we loved there that had nothing to do with my credit card, but and remember that Jen and I used to meet there all the time, and Jen and her wonderful at the time boyfriend, now husband, would bless their souls, listen to me practice my South by Southwest talk over and over again. And right before I did my talk, the woman that we loved there, remember she gave me that special plaque and was like, you're going to do awesome at South by.
It was above and beyond. We weren't
incredible.
Customers of anything. We weren't yeah.
We were using the space to get a coffee and me be like, and now I'll say this. It just was such great, talk about a brand. And interestingly, did you see that Corgi Insurance is trying to do the same thing? Corgi is an insurance and they're opening up a line of coffee shops. I think right now they're just New York, LA, but it's the same thing. I believe they're trying to do a similar Capital One cafe model where anyone, not just Corgi members, can use the space, but it's to do brand goodwill. It's kind of interesting.
It's so genius. But for Capital One, I got a credit card when we were co-working there because if you had a credit card, you got 50% off coffee and then Tuesdays were free. So Adam and I both got credit cards so that we could get $5 free coffees, and I've never canceled the card. So I'm still a Capital One fangirl because of the cafe.
I had no idea. I didn't even realize that. Okay, enough small talk about my overdraft. I'm an idiot is the headline. Jen, your stories. Rumor on the street is that you have some good stories today.
I woke up this morning, I had nothing. And I was like, I'm going to find good stories. And I feel like I found 3 good ones, starting off with Myspace. Did you ever have a Myspace?
Oh, please, of course. I was practically auctioning off people to be my top 8.
Oh my God. Well, the drama is coming back because Myspace is making a comeback again. For anyone who's unaware, they launched in 2003. By 2006, they were the most visited website in the US, beating Google and eBay. And of course, back then the stakes were lower for Google and eBay, but they were the most visited. They sold to News Corp for $580 million and it didn't go anywhere. Then they resold to a company that Justin Timberlake was a part of for $35 million in 2013, didn't go anywhere. Now they're trying to reboot it again. We're in a world where there's so many social media platforms. What do you think about a comeback of Myspace?
Absolutely love it. Think it's genius. I am all in. If I didn't have a job I loved, I would be trying to work there. I think it's awesome. I think Tom from MySpace is a big inspiration to you and I. Because remember when we were working on that social network and we had the idea that everyone would follow us? I was thinking about Tom from MySpace from that. I think it's awesome. I think it's ripe for a comeback. And this is why you just can never count anybody out.
So what do you think they have to do different to stand out in a world where there's 1,000 social media platforms?
Well, very interestingly, I think that all they need to do is not be Meta, because I think Meta is people. I feel like that the young people don't think like Facebook is cool. And, I see a lot of nostalgia online, especially on TikTok, for like this time of the 2000s and like the 2010s. And if they can ride that nostalgia, for people that are not alive in them, by the way, people that were like kids during them, are like, that was the golden time. I feel like that they can ride that and it can be cool again.
I think what's so interesting is it said in the article, 18% of what people see on Meta platforms are posts from their friends, and the rest are ads or suggested things or just things that are not what they actually want to see. And the biggest drama with MySpace was the top 8 of who was making your top 8. So if they can bring back a social media platform that's actually about your friends and people, but how are they going to make money? How would you monetize a social media platform in this day and age that wouldn't annoy the customer?
If I was MySpace, okay, here are my ideas off the top of my head. First of all, ads, low-hanging fruit, blah, blah, blah. 2, I would be very adult-friendly, like OnlyFans friendly, because I feel like Meta really clamps down on that. And I think you could be like, almost like a competitor. Part of the site could be a competitor to OnlyFans. 3, I think of course, I think you should have a spot in the top 8 that people like, it is auctioned off. And like, if I want to be in the top 8 of like Ralph Lauren or some other celeb, then I pay for it. And it's like a little bit goes to MySpace and a little bit goes to charity.
I thought you were gonna say for your own friends. I'm like, I would clearly pay all the money to be on your freaking top 8.
I feel like that there is a model for that if you are like paying to be on a top 8 for someone.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, the adult content is interesting because like some people use places like Reddit or Twitter or places like that for adult content secretly, right? So like that's one way to go. Or you can be kind of more like a Reddit platform / what Facebook groups used to be and be more community focused. I don't know. I think it could go either way, but I think if they're going to make a comeback, now is the right time. And if it doesn't work this time, you're screwed because we're the generation and we're kind of phasing out of caring.
100%. And I also think they have so much goodwill they can write off of. Like people don't like using Twitter and they don't like using Facebook. I actually think people want a goodwill towards Threads right now. Yeah. I think Threads is like a happy place, and same with Substack. So I think that there's a spot for MySpace and I'm so here for it. And I feel like we should, like, if they're trying to do press, we should try to get Tom from MySpace on this show. He should be like, come to one of our meetings. Give us a guest lecture. Okay. Here's an article that is just made for me.
Okay. Is it fast food?
And AI.
Yes. I saw it this morning. I'm like, I'm going to let her have this one.
You know it's for me. Okay. So Wall Street Journal did a whole thing on the Chili's CIO and their point of view on, his name is Chris Caldwell, and his point of view on AI. And I just want to say that this is what AI to me is supposed to be used for. First of all, I just want to say CIOs stands for Chief Information Officers. I feel like typically, even a couple of years ago, IT was just not seen as that powerful in the C-suite. Their job was very rote, to approve things, to do the intranet, and then with the advent of AI, I think IT is very hot and is a real powerhouse in the C-suite. And I don't think a couple of years ago, they would have been profiling a CIO of a fast food chain or fast casual chain, and now they are. So I just want to say I'm here for the comeback of the CIOs. Your work is very important. And so what Chris Caldwell is saying is they don't want to use AI to interface directly with guests. They want to use AI behind the scenes to make the experience better for customers. And I feel like that this is what I want from from where I go. This is what I want from companies. I want them to use AI to make their backend run more seamlessly, but I want to talk to a human. And I thought this was very interesting. When Chris got the job, one of the first things he did is he took a video of what what they call the spinning wheel of death, which is like their Wi-Fi in many of their stores was really slow and it was really impacting managers. So he took a video, spliced it together, showed it at the board meeting, and was like, this is what our frontline workers have to deal with. They're dealing with horrible internet while they're trying to talk to customers. So the first thing they did, not sexy, but super impactful, improve the Wi-Fi at all of their stores. Then the next thing they did is they took AI and used it to help make the back end run more smoothly. But he said very clearly, I don't want robot waiters. I want our customers to have a fake human experience, but I want the back end to be smooth. I just want to say I'm really here for it. I love Chili's. Colin literally sent me an email yesterday asking what day this week we want to go to Chili's. Not joking. If you've never had their triple dipper, it's like, not only did it go viral, I feel like on social, specifically TikTok, but it's amazing. I had it like a month ago. You can like choose from this big app menu and like you just choose the ones you want and then it comes out to you. It's very reasonably priced. I took my 2 little kids and Colin, we went to Chili's maybe a month ago and we couldn't believe how inexpensive it was. And it was just like a really like nice experience. And so anyways, we're thinking about doing it again this week, but I'm all in for Chili's. Jen?
I saw the article and I go, oh, another article about AI and fast food. And then I read it and I was like, holy shit, this is what it should be. Because you would think like, you know, everyone should, like McDonald's, for example, I think that their customer experience is kind of going downhill because you don't even interact with the person until you get your food. Like everything's done on a computer. It's confusing to a lot of people. I loved how he took a very unsexy approach here and said, I want to improve all of the errors that are making people's lives harder. I thought it was amazing. I think Chili's is having a freaking comeback moment. A lot of their dishes are going viral. They also spent a lot of money to increase their portion size, which I think a lot of people respect in this day and age too. I think that they are a company that is doing everything right. You know, what's interesting, when I read the article, I completely didn't see that it said CIO. And the whole time I was reading it, I thought this was coming from the CEO.
Yep.
So it's fascinating that you said
they have a lot of power. They have the CIO has a lot of power these days. You know, I was listening in on someone, where was I recently? I was on like a boat cruise, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, one of the women she was like a young woman was there and she was talking to another guest and she was saying, oh, I think I want to go, like the guest was like, oh, what are you in school for? And she's like, I'm really interested in supply chain. And I was like, I just feel like the advent for some of these like less sexy parts of business, IT, supply chain are coming back. And to hear this like young girl say that was like the part of the business she really wants to help improve, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, especially because like you don't hear that from a lot of people. Like a lot of people go to school and they're like, I want to do something with like computer science, but it's like, well, what does that actually mean? And like, what type of job are you going to have? I think, and like a lot of these jobs pay more than you think. Like a supply chain manager makes good money.
You know, I really liked my supply chain classes when I took them in school. I already had like another major going on, but I think supply chain is actually kind of interesting. And I can only imagine that it's more interesting now. Like how cool would it be to like work at a huge company and be in charge of how the stuff gets to the customer's door? Yeah. Or even a small company, probably be more interesting. Okay.
Well, speaking of AI and dating apps, which, you know, we've heard before, you know, I always love a good dating story, but this one was really interesting to me because it was about a wave of AI personal matchmakers. So instead of a traditional dating app, people are paying these AI matchmakers, they're AI agents that are getting to know them over the course of 2 weeks. They'll ask them questions about what they like, who they are. They'll talk to them for 2 weeks, and then they will make a match for you. They'll set up the date, the time, the place, and you pay $20 per date that you go on. There was obviously a success story highlighted here of a couple who met in person through this AI matchmaking service and felt like they've known each other for so many years. Why this is interesting is because, yeah, there's a lot of these AI dating matchmaking apps popping up, but then companies like Match Group, who owns all of the dating websites pretty much, they're having a decline in paying users. They're not, you know, on the up and up. So a lot of these traditional dating apps are moving into the AI matchmaking type of service to upsell their customers. It's interesting, but the article did call out the headaches of it, which is we all lie about what we want. And when you go to a traditional in-person matchmaker, they're able to question you a bit more. They're able to also kind of say, I know what you want, but I'm going to give you this. An AI matchmaker is going to be quite literal. And do you think it's a service that's going to pop off or disappear?
Just tell me how this is not like your algorithm on OkCupid giving you a selected match. Like, I feel like that all they've done is rebrand the dating algorithms, and like instead of being like, here's a bunch of people to swipe through, they're like, here's who we think is your best match. I feel like this article just really annoys me, honestly.
Well, I think it's different only because, again, people want to feel like they're talking to a human. So it's a chatbot that talks to you. And because of that, you feel like, oh my God, I'm getting the attention that a real matchmaker would give me for $20.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just all so desperate for attention.
For human attention.
I was gonna say it's human attention.
But can AI replace that? When you talk to ChatGPT, do you feel good about yourself because do you feel like you're talking to a person, or do you know I'm talking to a freaking robot right now?
As time goes on, I forget more and more that it's a robot, which is really scary.
Yes. The second it's like, Jen, everything's going to be okay, I don't care what you are. You can be a robot, a human, a dog. If you say those words to me, I fall madly in love with you. And that's what my ChatGPT says to me once a day.
Jen, everything's going to be fine.
I'm paying to be on your top 8.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Where can people go to sign up for it? Like, how could you try it?
There's tons of different AI matchmaking companies out there. But I think the biggest news is that Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, because they're losing so much money, so many new users, they're innovating and creating their own AI matchmaking platforms inside of the platform. Might be the future of what a lot of these offerings are, because people don't want to swipe. They want to, talk and have someone say, okay. Right now, there's no talking aspect. You just write a profile and that's it. And then you do the dirty work. This is doing the dirty work for you, and you pay per match that you meet in person.
I mean,
it's not bad.
It's not bad, but what these dating apps don't realize is that I feel like their target market is not people that are super AI positive. Like, every youngest person that I talk to is not bullish on AI. You know who's bullish on AI? Like, me and my parents. Like, it seems like it's older folks are like, AI is incredible, and younger folks are like, we don't like it. And I just want to say, we should probably be listening to the younger folks more than we are.
Yeah. You know how like when we were younger in our like early 20s, I think I said this before, like everyone our age was like, I'm going to start a dating app. That was like the thing you did. Nowadays, how do you feel about people starting dating apps? You don't hear about it as much.
Dating apps are really hard to start because they're double-sided marketplaces, which are just like horribly challenging to start. The most interesting dating app I've seen in the last couple of years was called It's called Date Like Goblins, or Date with Goblins, and it matches people that love to game, and they can play games, like online games together, and then like start relationships like more organically. And I thought that that was like a very good, like, I feel like if you're dating up on a niche interest, it's better.
Field. I keep hearing people talk about Field, which is like for people who have like fetishes. It's like a fetish dating app.
Cool, okay.
And I literally like twice on the streets of New York City overheard people talking about like how great Field is. And again, it's like such a niche app because if you like a certain type of fetish and you meet someone who like it, I don't know this world very much. I'm pretty like vanilla, but like, if there is a world for this, and I guess it helps people get together who are into certain things. So
I don't like the name. Field is such a bad name for it.
It's like FEELD or something, like Field, something like that. Yeah, like, I think. Okay. Yeah. It's but yeah, like that's another interesting perspective of a dating app, is like it's so unique and it matches people who like are looking for something so specific together. And there's a high volume of people.
If you were starting Field, what's a better name for it?
God, I'd have to like look at like what these terms are.
I feel like it's like mealed, like more fetish. Like fetish with an M. Fetish.
Fetish. Cute, but then it's kind of like meta.
Oh God, that's a bad
love
one.
It.
Okay, we'll have to name the fetish site later. Now this is a fun one. Fashion brands are doing more Did you see this one?
This is my third one, so this is perfect.
Oh, amazing. Okay, fetish brands are doing more pre-loved apparel.
Wait, you said fetish brands?
Oh my God, sorry. I'm sorry, my mind is like, I gotta look it up. How'd you spell it? I'm just kidding. Fashion brands are doing more pre-loved apparel. What does this mean? So last night I was watching a Patreon of some girls that were going shopping, and they were doing like a try on. And I was so intrigued that in the store, which was just like a regular old store, I think it was a Reformation, they had a whole section that was like vintage clothing from other designers, not Reformation clothing. And I thought, oh, that is so unique. And then today in the Wall Street Journal, it's talking about how fashion brands are now incorporating into their offerings like vintage, re-loved, maybe from their brand, maybe not. And I just want to give a call out. I am a small investor in Jackalow, which does this for children's clothing. And it's all about, so through that investment, I've learned a lot about like the circular economy. It's very, very hard to recycle fabrics. And this idea that you can take clothes that are well made and either resell them or they can be deconstructed and sold again, can help address some of the problems with fast fashion. So this particular article focused on H&M, which is now like moving into that larger. What is your thoughts on secondhand clothing? Do you shop it?
So in where I live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn is like the heart of vintage stores. Like people come all over to go to these vintage stores, and I never ever think to go in. But then every time I go in, I find something so unique. Like, not to spoil a lot, but one of the birthday gifts I got you, I found at this like secondhand store, and I walked in and I was
so
like,
cool.
Holy smokes, this is like a really great thing for you. So like, I never think about it. But what's so interesting to me is like one of my favorite stores is Zara, and Zara has a whole section on their website of like vintage Zara. So like, I guess things people have sold back to them of like pre-owned Zara things. And I have browsed it before because they have such unique clothing that like maybe there's a style from 5 years ago that they like. So yeah, I think it's such an interesting trend. I don't personally like think to always shop secondhand, but I think that a lot of people do. Like my babysitter for Gemma, who's here today, she only wears secondhand. Like,
and I bet she looks fabulous all the time.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't, and I want to do more of it. I feel like a challenge for me is, I'm still like kind of losing the baby weight. My size is changing a lot. So one, I don't want to spend a lot of money on clothes right now because I'm hoping I'll be a different size in the future. But also a challenge I find with buying secondhand is like the sizing isn't as standardized. So like if I go to Old Navy or Gap, like I know my size there and it will probably fit. Where from even something from like, the early 2000s, sometimes the sizing is different and it's harder to do it. But I really love the idea of it. And like I want to do it more. So I think I don't do a lot of shopping in person, but I like the idea that when I go and shop in person, I could also be like looking at this rack for environmental, but also just because like the stuff is cool and like not everyone has it.
You know what's so great? It's like a lot of the stores here, I sell a lot. So like I have garbage bags, like maybe once a month I'll bring a garbage bag. And like when you sell to them, you have two options. One, you can get store credit and it's usually like 50% more, or you can get cash and it's like 50% less. And it's a really good deal. Like if you take the store credit, you can have a lot of money at these stores to buy stuff. Like I just brought a bag in. I think I would be $100 store credit and it was like $50 cash. So like $100 store credit at these places, like you can get a lot of really good stuff.
I remember I used to go to, when I lived in Austin, I used to go to Buffalo Exchange all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like the cool thing. It's like secondhand is hard though. Like I live in like kind of the suburbs now. It's like, I don't know any cool secondhand shops.
You have like Plato's Closet probably.
I'm sure I do. I do.
Yeah.
But then I also have like, being honest, I also have like Five Below or Costco where the clothes are really cheap. And I'm not saying they look nice, but like, I feel like I want to shop secondhand because I like it for the environment. And I think the clothes are cooler, but also I don't know if I would do it just to save money. And I think I would want to do it in person.
You know, what's interesting is in that article, they mentioned that like France and places like that, they're fining brands for creating like fast fashion. So I feel like a lot of these fast, like, I shop at Zara, and literally you can walk into a Zara on a Tuesday and by Wednesday, there's a whole new section of clothing. And that's crazy, the amount of clothing.
You know what I do think? The article made mention of what I do think was like a big blow for millennial fashion culture, which is whenever, what was it called? Everlane? Is that what it was called?
Everlane.
That sold to Shein. I feel like that was, I remember when I used to work at Venmo, there was like, all the cool kids would wear Everlane and it was like, no, it's really good for the environment. And it's like, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like getting sold to Shein is just like
the biggest sellout move.
It's the biggest, and it reminds me, they mentioned it when Allbirds rebranded to be the AI company. It's like,
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what other companies can you think of that sold to like a perfectly sellout type of company like that?
now that's such a good question.
Because like selling a sustainable fashion brand to Shein is like
That's just
literally
such a-
selling like, I'm trying to think, like a Jewish company to like an atheist brand. Like, you know what I mean? It's
totally,
like, I'm trying
like
to
it's like
think.
something that's just like so against the brand values. I honestly can't think of more recent example. Like I feel like the article calls those out. I was like, I was very upset about the Allbirds to the AI company. I wasn't upset about it. I just was like, because everyone says AI in their title, and then they get like these huge jumps in stock valuation. I just think it's like really shitty.
So
And I
whatever
was,
happened to them?
they officially renamed. I think it's called like All AI or Bird AI or something. And I think they're trying to find their footing. But I mean, I would be interested. I would love to talk to them 12 months after. We should see if they want to talk to us. And like, how did the pivot go? I think being in consumer fashion is hard, but I also think being in enterprise AI is hard.
Yeah.
And not being Microsoft,
It just makes literally no sense. Just go do another whole new brand new company. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
why would you sell for? Also, I just feel like as a founder that has sold my company, I feel like um there are a lot of options if you don't want to run your business anymore. And I don't know if you necessarily have to sell to something that is like so against your values. Like there are always other options. And so like Everlane to Shein, like tell me how are you explaining that to your customers, please?
No, this is going to keep me up all night. I want to think of another company that does this and we'll report back this
We'll
week.
report back.
Yeah. This is like such an interesting thing to have a list. We should start a running list of like sellout type of companies like that because it's just bizarre.
It'll be like us someday. We like sell this to like
Yeah.
let's do that. What would be like a very sellout company if we were to sell like this business meeting thing? To like, I know, like a company that's like for people that are like don't want to work, like fire.
Yeah.
Sold it to like a fire company or something.
Like Ty, like
yeah, for like something that like people that are like very anti-meeting.
no, my God, like an anti-meeting company.
Yeah, or like a robot company. It's like all run by robots.
We would maybe.
Sure.
Money talks and we listen.
Call us.
Well, this was a great business meeting.
We did it. Do you have any more stories, or do you?
No, that was my third. This is great.
Love it. Everyone, thank you so much for coming to our meeting today. We hope you have a great day at work. We hope you have a great day if you're not at work. And we hope you have, thanks for coming to our wonderful meeting.